This video is brought to you by Pedal. Hey Wisecrack, Michael here to talk about a show that's never been afraid to take a strong stance on the most zeitgeisty of issues. Whether they're contending that America's two political parties are equally lame.
Welcome to the cable access televised debate between a giant douche and a turd sandwich.
Or satirizing Disney's stranglehold on the entertainment industry.
Shut the f*** up, Thor! You're here to flex and not think, you bitch!
South Park has honed a pretty clear worldview over the past 24 seasons. The show's comedy obviously errs on the side of pretty not subtle, but just in case you missed the point, they've also cultivated an excellent trope in which Kyle dispenses the moral of each episode. As a result, it's rare to finish the show feeling unsure of what the Parker Stone mind meld was trying to say, which is why the most recent vaccination special struck me as kind of strange. Don't get me wrong, it's very funny with some truly memorable lines.
You know what, Kyle? Please don't say it. Silence is violence, Kyle. Don't kill mom, buddy.
It also addresses a broad scope of current events, everything from vaccine priority groups.
Get the f*** out of here, I said you're not getting in. You're wasting your time. Oh, hello, ma'am, right this way.
Oh, 79 bitches!
To QAnon.
And that is why I've called together every QAnon follower in our town.
Let's forget it, Bob. The bad guys won.
I feel like someone pooped on my life.
To the struggle of public education during the pandemic.
Our public school system is dying and you tutors are trying to take advantage of it.
But what exactly was the episode trying to say? Why does it both mercilessly mock QAnon?
Forget the classroom. Tutor-not is bespoke learning that is straight from the internet to your child.
While also featuring ethical arguments like this.
Well, the community kids are acting on something they believe in, and so are the little cuties, am I right? Like, what is the difference?
We're still figuring it out, so come sleuth with us in this Wisecrack Quicktake on South Park, the Vaccination Special. Spoilers ahead. And before we get into it, I want to give a shout out to this video sponsor, Pedal. The Pedal One Card is a card designed to help you build credit. Many credit card companies base your credit limit or credit worthiness solely on your credit score. But if you haven't established a credit score yet, it can be hard to get approved for the card you need. If you have a credit score, it will be used in evaluating your application. However, Pedal can also supplement your credit score by using your banking history to create a cash score, which is essentially just a measure of your income, spending, and savings. The Pedal One Card is issued by WebBank, member FDIC. The Pedal One Card has no annual fees and as of today has variable APRs ranging from 19.99% to 29.49%. The Pedal One Card's credit limit starts at $500 and can range up to $5,000, which can help keep your credit utilization low. And after all, that's a key part of building your credit score. On top of that, you can get 2 to 10% cash back at select merchants. So check out the Pedal One Card today. Go to pedalcard.com/wisecrack to find out more. That's pedal with a T, petal.com/wisecrack. Now, back to the show. Now, it's important to note that nearly every plotline of this episode, from condiment-fueled menstrual pranks to failing bro ships to QAnon, seems to emphasize one central thesis: misinformation is everywhere. This might seem like a big no-duh when it comes to the child blood drinking cabal, but the vibe permeates throughout. Early on, Cartman and Kenny plan an appropriately lame prank to try to convince their classmates that their teacher got her period. Even when it's revealed to be a setup,
Is this a prank?
the teacher's humiliation remains the same. It's irrelevant whether she actually got her period. What matters is that it appeared like she did, and that's, embarrassing. This, in an unexpected way, sets the tone for an episode that's all about the power of misinformation to wreak havoc on our lives, and in this case, a perfectly nice white skirt. After the prank, the misinformation continues. Kyle and Stan, who had nothing to do with the ketchup fiasco, are implicated in the elementary school crime because Cartman tells everyone they did the prank as a bro ship.
Why do people think we all did the period joke?
Well, because I told them we all did. People know we're bros and that we do everything together.
And of course, there's the whites and their QAnon obsession. Doing major mental gymnastics, they transform Garrison's haphazard foul language into cryptic messages that they then spread to their fellow cutie pies. Once South Park's QAnon members, under supposed instruction from Garrison, become private tutors, that information is then passed on to children. Clearly, misinformation abounds in this tiny Colorado town.
Forget all the Zooms and masks and social distancing at school.
But here's the question. What does this all have to do with an episode that's ostensibly about people desperately bickering for that sweet, sweet immunity juice in their arms? If I might offer a kind of out there hypothesis, I think it has a lot to do with the show's creators thinking through their own ideology in the middle of a global pandemic. Matt Stone and Trey Parker are not shy about their libertarian leanings. Theirs is a framework that stresses individual choice and minimal or no government intervention. Often, libertarianism centers on the idea that humans are the best advocates for their own self-interest, and the market can best sort out these competing interests. So when the show starts off with jokes about vaccination lines at Walgreens, portraying the place as a nightclub for the lucky few olds, it seems like this is the direction they're going. You know, the government's red tape makes everything inefficient, while shady people like Cartman inevitably find a way to get around the rules. But the show's exploration is not that simple. Sure, it focuses on the many kinds of competing interests at play in vaccine distribution. Do we give priority to older people first since they're at higher risk? Or should we prioritize teachers who are crammed into poorly ventilated rooms with pestilence-bearing children?
Think my life doesn't matter? I'll show you what matters. Counselors matter, that's what matters.
Or maybe you're a self-interested news reporter making your own case that you deserve
A chance at hope and some happiness in this world.
And of course, maybe you're just a rando who really wants some shrimp.
I could go out to fancy restaurants like all them old people and eat shrimp as big as my head.
Now, some of this calculus is easy. I'm gonna say shrimp guy shouldn't be at the front of the line. On the other hand, this kind of math inevitably leaves people feeling ignored.
Our feelings and our needs have been put dead last.
But if figuring out vaccine prioritization on a macro level seems hard, it's nothing compared to how tricky it becomes when things get personal. Kyle learns this all too potently via some traditional Jewish parental guilt.
Sounds like your teacher's life is more important than your mom and dad's.
To put it in Cartman's words,
Wow, everyone just really wants a shot.
so what's the Parker-Stone solution to the logistical nightmare of vaccine distribution? It's complicated. The classic libertarian-esque laissez-faire answer might be, let the free market decide. This solution is endorsed by Cartman, who is willing to sell the shots to the highest bidder, pre-existing conditions be damned.
Did you guys know Mr. Lawson, Jenny Lawson's dad?
Yeah?
He's offering us $2,000 for a vaccination.
But the show pretty clearly doesn't endorse the vaccine black market, or this idea at large. For one, Cartman is less the show's moral compass and more an agent of chaos for his own selfish ends. And second, the episode's conclusion has Israel saving the day, a country that has successfully vaccinated over half of all its citizens, but not residents of its occupied territories, thanks in large part to a publicly funded healthcare system. That is to say, the exact opposite of get daddy government out of my healthcare. But beyond semi-ironically celebrating Israel's vaccine rollout, there's another component of this episode that seems to complicate the normal refrain of individual choice. Everyone's a dumbass. Or more specifically, everyone is constantly being inundated with misinformation. Most obviously, there's an exchange like this.
They're vaccinating people right now, seeding people with their microchips. Surely you have a plan. We're on the internet every night waiting for word. The word is get a life, jackass. Blow at your dick hole.
Mr. White's been so primed to see hidden meaning everywhere.
He said out your dick hole. He's trying to give us some kind of signal.
That he manages to interpret this as a call to arms for QAnon to become teachers. Which brings us to another victim of misinformation: parent choice in schools. Parents are presented with the appealing option to pull their kids out of the universally loathed Mr. Garrison's class.
Hey guys, what's the problem? It's that son of a bitch, Mr. Garrison. He's gonna completely screw up our kids. Well, that's why we pulled Tweak out of school.
But the people promising to plug your kid into the unlimited data stream that is the internet, they might just be this guy.
Tom Hanks and Oprah are just two at the very top of an elite group of people who control everything we see and do. They feed upon children in order to maintain their elite status, and that isn't the worst of it. Do you know what pedophilia is?
But it's not just QAnon supporters. The idea that we simply can't trust anything anymore is plastered all over the episode.
I don't know why I believed them when they said they had vaccinations. I don't know why I believe anything anymore.
Meanwhile, Cartman spends the whole time trying to keep up the fiction that the broship is alive and well, despite all the clear signs that it's not. And of course, the little cuties feeling left behind wonder.
Do you guys really trust anybody anymore?
The very real and widespread proliferation of misinformation that's depicted in the episode is on its own troubling. But even worse, we live in a world where people, relying on faulty knowledge, can go on to make absolutely horrible decisions that they truly believe to be ethical. This point is made clear by our news anchor, who says,
I'm not trying to be cute. I'm saying if these kids really believe the horrific things they believe, then they'd be bad people not to go out and do something about it, wouldn't they? Yes, that's totally true if you're a corrupt dickhead without morals.
Here, South Park seems to be examining how we can make ethical decisions in a world inundated with bad intel. What's more, it seems to be asking, how do we come together as individuals and parse out conflict with people who think Tom Hanks and Oprah are feasting on children? And that brings us back to where we started. What is South Park advocating for in this episode? Well, it seems nothing. Don't get me wrong, it scratches the surface of some really interesting problems with our society. But what do you do when huge swaths of the country believe in pure fiction? You fly in a jet from Israel and get everyone vaccinated. Here we have a deus ex machina, or a storytelling device in which a huge problem is suddenly fixed by a sweepingly dramatic, unlikely solution. As a result, it doesn't tell us much about our own world. This, unusually, is followed by Garrison giving the supposed moral of the story, saying that everyone is way too divided before concluding that,
And in times of crisis, when we need each other most, it's sometimes when we grow furthest apart. But through it all, Mr. White here has taught me a very important lesson. Make sure you're on the side of the people with the most power.
So what is the show saying here? Are Parker and Stone advocating that everyone climb up the social ladder to be as adjacent to power as possible? Maybe. Or are they simply making a cynical joke about how individual ethics ultimately matter a lot less than power does? Also, maybe. But while this bit is funny, it also seems like the show is throwing its hands up in the air. It's pretty nihilistic, even more so than usual for South Park. We think the real issue here may be that it's really, really hard to reconcile a libertarian worldview with the realities of a global pandemic. When one person's freedom to, say, not wear a mask means another person's ventilator. After all, public health is inherently, well, public, and doesn't work too well when the standard operating procedure is, do whatever you want. But what do you guys think? Did we totally miss the point here, or is South Park just as confused about the vaccine rollout as our state and local governments? Let us know what you think in the comments. Big thanks to our patrons for all your support. Obliterate that subscribe button like you're a 97% effective vaccine stomping out a global pandemic, and don't forget to ring that bell. And as always, thanks for watching. Later. Yeah. Hi, welcome to Wisecrack. Michael here.
Wisecrack babies.